I pledge allegiance to the flag of the United States of America and to the republic for which it stands, one nation, under God, indivisible, with liberty and justice for all.
Morning, everyone. Call the meeting to order. We have a quorum. I'll take a motion to approve the agenda and the minutes, please.
I'll make a motion to approve both of them.
I'll second it.
All right, any other discussion? All in favor, aye?
Aye.
Aye. Opposed? Motion will carry. Rich Brum,
Morning.
how are you today?
Come on, Rich.
Good. How are you guys? Got a couple things for you. I know this week we'll be blading the road since we got some moisture. We're trying to get everything covered up this week. We're still continuing our shoulder work on 105 when we get done blading. So that'll be another slow process, but we'll continue that. And just as a reminder, 10-hour days will start next week. So we didn't do it during this holiday week, but it'll be next week. And also next week, I'll bring you guys a professional services agreement. We got a bridge on Kirkwood, or not Kirkwood, but on Killdeer over Elk Creek. The deck is really good, but the abutments are really trashed. And because there's always water in there and the piling are getting bad, I'm having WHKS send us a PSA so they can tell us what we can kind of do there, maybe put a planned project together. I think what we're looking at is probably just encasing the back walls with concrete. But what's going to happen is, Elk Creek's kind of a protected area there a little bit, and it's going to take some dewatering, and we really don't have the equipment to do all that sheet piling and coffer damming and stuff to do the work. So I think I'm just going to have WHKS put something together for us so we can get that bridge fixed right. The deck is a pre-stressed, pre-cast double T beam bridge, and it's in really good shape on top. It's just that the wood piles are starting to fall apart. So we're trying to think that this is a way to probably save that bridge, get some more life out of it without doing a major reconstruction. So I'll bring that to you guys to look at next week.
Good.
Sounds good.
Yep.
But other than that, for this week, I don't have much to discuss with you unless you guys got some real quick questions.
I don't know.
Nothing on this end, so.
If not, I'm going to log off and get to my Mitchell County one.
Yep.
Sounds good. Thank you.
All right. Call off or email if you have questions.
All right.
Okay.
Thanks.
Drainage. See, there was some stamp
Stamp
warrants.
warrants.
Yeah, catching up on, what is it? Damages for DD 46,
46. Okay.
lat 9.
Okay.
Oh,
And then we'll be waiting for a reclass so that we can assess the project.
Right. So I'll make a motion to approve the drainage claim stamp warrants.
stamp warrants. Is there a second?
I'll second it.
Any other discussion? All in favor, aye?
All right.
Aye. Opposed? Motion carried. Anything else on drainage? See, we had some special claims come
Yeah,
through.
more claims again. I was gonna say, it's only 55, but yeah, this is
End
more.
of the year, and the
In the
Well,
the
just-
fiscal.
We've been debating just doing them every week because it seems like timing, people can't get it, don't seem to have,
Dates.
yeah.
Wanna follow the
And
dates.
getting things to us so that we can get them out timely, and then you end up with charges that you shouldn't have and stuff like that.
right.
Okay.
Well, with the
So
mail
it
and
just
everything,
gets,
sometimes
yeah,
it's
and that
tough.
doesn't help either. We have gotten a lot of statements online versus mail, which that's what they're pushing, and that's
Right.
what they, why they're changing a lot of the deadlines, so.
Okay.
We're trying to be proactive that way, but on the flip side, if it's for a specific department, Chelsea shouldn't be wasting her time going online and getting the stuff, so it just kinda,
Right.
we're working on it.
Okay. Well, I guess we have to do it weekly until we can get back to a normal thing, that's fine, so.
And it might end up being something that we go forward with, it might end up saving time in the long run.
Sure.
A lot of counties do weekdays.
Yeah,
Well, and that, I guess, and the biggest thing is just we don't wanna pay any late charges to people. That's just throwing money out the window, so. If that's what it takes, that's what it takes.
And that's supposed to be the responsibility of department heads, to
Right.
get them to us timely,
Yeah.
but it doesn't always happen.
Motion to approve the special claims, right?
Yeah.
Yep, motion to approve special claims, is there a second?
I'll second it.
Any other discussion? All in favor, aye?
Aye.
Aye. Opposed? Motion carried. Reports,
I think we're good there.
payroll eligibility or salary changes?
Oh, nope, nothing for there either.
Liquor license, cigarette license?
Okay, it will be. Yeah, and thank you, Mark, for
No
your
problem.
assistance.
Take care of the little kids.
You assist with liquor?
I do,
I've heard that
Yes.
about.
especially when they're in my neighborhood.
Yeah. I knew there was incentive. So,
I don't attend either one of them very often, so,
so anyway,
but I wanna
we
see them
have,
succeed, so.
we have country, let's see, what do we have for cigarette?
Should be Country View and,
I had a note for myself.
Happy Time.
Country View, Happy Time, and then the cigarette was Diamond Joe.
Okay.
So I need a motion to approve liquor license for Country View Acres and Happy Time Campground and cigarette license for Diamond Joe.
I make a motion.
I'll second it.
Okay, any other discussion? Hearing none, all in favor, aye?
Aye.
Aye.
Aye. Opposed? Carried.
I guess there's a new system that isn't very much fun to
No,
work with.
sounds that way.
Three of us need to sign
Yeah,
And
please.
then with the COVID thing last
Let her-
year.
Yeah.
and
There's
catching
been
up.
some confusion on if they paid this year or last year and all kinds of fun stuff.
It don't
So-
sound, like the state's real helpful.
But Chelsea was on top of it.
Much
She
appreciated.
kept them going.
Good.
it. Must be
She
the new
was
system.
talking to the state a lot last
Yeah.
week.
Much appreciated. They were getting worried, at least one of them was.
I
Couldn't figure out
bet.
where it was. We said,
Well,
okay.
that new
I
system.
could hit the
there
bottom
has
line.
Just a pain in the butt.
Had more hiccups than, done more harm than good.
Well, like I say, the COVID threw a kind of a wrench into it too.
Change is great.
Yeah,
Well, not only that, you didn't have to pay for so long, now you gotta
Right.
pay for the backup.
then you had a back pay.
Prior, and
It's
then
like,
now it's,
they thought they were paid up to date.
They
so.
should have just kept paying.
should've just left it alone.
Yeah.
Well, that's what it comes down to. You could just have kept writing checks and skip the grace period.
Manure management plan annual update.
Did I send this out or not? I don't remember. It's Craig Bender's.
I don't,
I didn't
I don't
see that one.
remember seeing that one, but
I haven't gotten a paper one for a while.
no, that's the problem. I'm sure it's no changes. other
No
than-
changes, no, just annual.
Yep, annual renewal. I'll make a motion to approve, or acknowledge the manure
Yeah.
management plan.
I'll second it.
There's a motion to acknowledge the manure management plan and a second. Any other discussion? All in favor, aye?
Aye.
Aye.
Aye. Opposed? Plan is acknowledged.
Okay.
ICAP 21-22 renewal.
This is another one that's uglier than last year. We will have the normal discount, but,
Yep.
the amount right now is 116,504 and there's.
And it was?
It was right around 100
Yeah,
last year,
that's what I was
yeah.
thinking.
Can I add some more bad news to that?
Sure.
So ICAP cybersecurity insurance was always up to $1 million, and that was provided for us, or was part of our policy.
No,
That went down to $250,000 this year.
Really?
Because cybersecurity insurance is going through the roof.
okay.
But they didn't even give us an option to.
Well, so you gave me that sheet of paper to call them, to contact them. And I talked to Corey Olson, and so I've got a survey I've gotta fill out now before we can get a quote. But he said when the quote shows up, be prepared. Because it is going to be nasty.
Well, and what is a good amount, because.
Just to get $1 million in even, Joel, like we had?
Just to get them, I was very comfortable with $1 million
Right.
coverage. But you know, roughly the rule of thumb we used to have was $197 per record compromised. So if you take how many how many residents do we have in the county? 7,500
7,500,
or so times 197. I mean, and that's just, you know, for that part of it. Now, let alone the, you know, remediation or bringing in a forensic type response team or anything like that. So we blow through $1 million pretty quick in the event of
Maybe.
a large breach.
250 wouldn't touch it then, huh?
Yeah.
Just close the doors. So there was an option for, and we've had that in the past, I think I marked it, it was on the back of one of the pages, maybe the next one, maybe, that there was some options,
You mentioned that anyway.
but that's just increasing, I think, the liability part, if you choose to do so. This one. So, I mean, that, we've just stuck with the 12 million so far. I would guess that's still a comfortable range, but there were options if you wanted them.
What's your overall liability on any?
It just, so, premium even more.
Right.
Right.
Which, we've had some cases.
Yeah.
I haven't.
Well, and, I mean, that's not even close to our workman's comp premium.
No, I know, I saw that too.
Hey, Bob had a heart attack that day.
Well,
We got much choice, I mean, but
no, you gotta have insurance.
Just roll with it, probably.
just takes out of any reserves that were there, hopefully.
Okay, take a motion to approve the ICAP 21-22 renewal.
I will make that a motion.
Is there a second?
I'll second it.
Any other discussion? Hearing none, all in favor, aye?
Aye.
Aye.
Aye. Opposed? Motion will carry. Go broke, paid it, but if you don't have it, you're in trouble too.
It's on farmer there for a second.
Yeah, I was gonna say, I feel like that at home too.
It's getting the hang of it.
I just look at what I insure personally, and it's like,
That drives you crazy.
holy cow.
Yeah.
But you don't wanna lose everything.
Well, that's the thing.
No, that's why you have insurance.
But then other people don't and get by and have a
Yeah.
GoFundMe page.
They don't have any.
Yeah.
They have no assets.
As soon as I quit, I know it hit the fan, so. Budget amendments at 9, so does that involve our interfund transfer or not?
Yeah.
Does you wanna wait till 9 to do
Yeah,
that? Okay.
that's good.
Courthouse water damage, discussion and possible action.
I still have passed Brian Kennison on the road this morning and he was going the other way, probably on purpose.
Yeah.
So I'll let you know when I hear something from him.
Okay.
And I mean, I don't know what, what his time frame on is or if he can just give us some
Idea.
ideas.
Right.
So we'll see what happens. I'll let you know.
Those pictures that you had when were those shot? How long ago?
That's before me, so at least.
4 or 5 years.
Yeah.
ago, so,
I was on.
Oh, you just
You
got
were here,
it.
yeah.
You just
Yeah,
got it.
Well, during that,
17,
like last
18.
time that other engineering firm was there or whatever.
When you were up in the lift and stuff?
Yes.
Yeah, she had.
Yeah.
Yeah,
so that
Kenny and I
would've
and
All kinds of
Merlin
fun.
went up there, I think,
Yeah.
yeah, actually.
17 or 18.
And he shot the pictures after that, but he
Mhm.
pointed everything out to us, yeah.
So it's been leaking for 5 years in certain areas.
So it was
More
like the
than
first
that.
year I was on the board, actually, so, yeah, going on 5
It didn't
years.
just start.
No.
It's been doing it for years.
And that's when he did a little work, try to.
The guy from Osage,
Yes.
Yeah.
he did some work then.
Well, yeah, Band-Aid work.
We had
Yep.
pictures in March of 17 and September of 17 on the roof was March and the chimney was September. And then we have treasurer's office pictures. I can't remember when those.
He did some work on that too, in the last 2 or 3 years.
He's just
4
been
years.
patching it together in
Right.
between jobs for us, and that's all that we've had done so far.
Still cracked.
And
Okay.
he tried over that vent on the side of the sheriff's that's above the 3 windows where
Yep.
Terry and Marilyn are. I think water's still, I think it stopped for a little while, but I think it's still coming in, yeah. So that didn't fix that problem. It's coming from somewhere else.
It's a powerful thing in the world, water.
Yeah. We got a lot of it.
Okay, well, I guess we'll wait and see what we hear from Brian and see if we get any options to make another patch. Winworth Becko. Hello there, young lady.
Hi, how are you?
Good, how you doing?
Good. Summer events calendars are done. They should be in the papers this week or next. And yep, that's that for that. And it's just a postcard, so it'll be cool. I did put the job out to bid for the local printers. Unfortunately, they the lowest bid was the Carlson Craft in Mankato, so
Good.
they were more than half less.
Oh, okay.
So, and then I wanted to ask, there's a prospect for the interchange. And before you answer the question, he is interested in leasing or leasing to own land. If that is something that the board would consider, two questions. One, how would I go about that? And two, would you maybe possibly put a contingency on that, like they would have to go through SBDC counseling to get their ducks in a row and have a good business plan?
So yeah, I would definitely say yes to the second part if we said yes to the first part, but, I think that's the question, whether we wanna do that or not. That's not been our goal,
Right.
I guess.
And he just approached, and it's a baby concept. We haven't delved into it, so before I go any further with it, I just wanted to make sure that if that was an option, otherwise that will change his whole business plan.
Right.
Yeah, I mean, I'm kind of same boat. As far as leasing, we're trying to just sell the things and get them on tax rolls. We don't want to get into a lease
No.
and get into a building, and then we have the headache just in case his businesses do fail, so.
We already have water and wastewater.
Right.
Exactly.
We're getting utilities we're not crazy about, but.
And I think if we were gonna be into leasing a building, we'd want to basically build it so it'd be up to our specs, so if we had to use it for something else.
Right, that it can be utilized for numerous other things, but.
So
I just think we're into this too early to start leasing it.
right,
And we don't have to answer it today or whatever. I just thought I'd put the idea out there, and I can give you a copy of what was handed to the office.
Okay. Yeah, I mean, I'm not a big fan of doing that right now. If it came down to the last lot or two and we're trying to do something, maybe, but
right.
we've got enough invested now, I don't think we need to take that on. Yeah, I mean, I hope whatever it is would wanna come in and it would go, but like I say, there's whatever the percentage of businesses that do fail is out there as well.
Right.
And it's kind of a tough time to be doing anything right now. It's not necessarily the business, it's the employees, so. To me, I would try to come see if you'd wanna come up with a different plan. We didn't even wanna rent it out to the concrete company down the road, because
No,
we're just getting it where we
just
want.
because.
So, you know what I mean, we're just getting it hopefully to a good spot, but.
Okay, and then the fireworks company on the other side.
Yep.
They are getting their land appraised, and the appraiser called me, and he wanted to know the contact for the appraisal for the chunk that the Worth County owns. So who can I send him to?
Who appraised?
We didn't do an
We didn't do
We
an
didn't do an
appraisal.
appraisal.
We had somebody kinda give us an idea on loss, or lot costs, we had Vanguard, right?
Yeah.
Vanguard helped us.
Cause they do our whole county.
If he wants to talk to somebody, can I just send him to you then, or?
I mean, Vanguard appraisers, they go to any appraising company, I would assume, they all gotta follow guidelines, so.
I think he's just looking for comps.
As they,
Well, and we do
Good luck.
mass appraisal, it's not gonna be retail, so
right,
going off our figures isn't gonna be a,
Yeah, and to take this
fair.
location versus say Clear Lake or Albert Lee,
Yeah, I know,
it's
yeah.
tough to do that too until it's.
well, I know guys that are in the appraisal business, and
Yeah.
there, it seems like there's one group or the other, there's either residential or there's commercial, because they're just two different ball games. But
I just,
I'd recommend them to like Vanguard or somebody that's, I mean, kinda does that work. Yeah, cause we don't have any, I mean, we're just gonna,
like even Vanguard though, it's not retail, you know, they're gonna be mass appraisal, and once one gets set and sells for it, then Vanguard will, because
Right.
then we have a basis for it, so to market it, it's almost like a real estate agent or someone who does official appraisals based off of retail.
So, like the property we had, you basically just broke it down on a square footage type of deal.
Yeah.
Lot prices, so.
Yeah, and they were just doing like a comparison of other areas throughout the state or
Right.
the area on, you know, depends what business comes in and how that affects everything, and then what area are you in? Are you in Clear Lake? Well, obviously everything's gonna be more higher priced down there, 'cause there's a lot more people, a lot more traffic stopping at those intersections, so,
And they haven't sold yet,
no,
so
no.
that number is
Yes,
just.
there's no solid numbers.
Yeah.
It's-
Right. So yeah, I know there's Nils Norland. He's a commercial guy. He's out of like Ames or Des Moines area. He's actually originally from Northwood area. He comes up here quite a bit, but he's a commercial appraiser. I can't think of the name of the business
That's where
he
you
has,
wanna go,
but
retail.
that's what I'd recommend.
The
Yeah, find
benchmark.
somebody.
Agribusiness.
Then might, yeah,
Benchmark might.
might.
Or at
He
least get
doesn't-
you in the right direction.
He might get you in the right direction, yeah, talk to Fred. He might have an idea.
Yeah, he goes all over the place.
Mm-hmm. I don't know if he does much commercial stuff or not.
Yeah, that's all we can
Say,
recommend, I
He's
guess.
busy with that.
Yeah.
Okay.
We kinda didn't do the full blown event on ours. We just did more of a recommendation to us on
Just a-
what to list it for. So. But, is that it?
Yep.
Okay. Yeah.
Did you, I know this isn't on there, but since Jim's here, did you guys decide on what kind of grass that is and it
I
needs to
sent
be
him
a little hype
Yeah.
on it.
Okay,
It is long grass.
okay. Cause
It's
yeah,
getting a
it's
little
starting
woolly,
to
but-
look,
It's getting,
And
I
those-
saw that, but it's getting a little woolly, but
But
I
I'd
still,
say a couple weeks yet at
yeah, I
least.
think before our mower can mow it, it needs to either be woollier.
Yeah,
Well,
cause it's not real thick, yeah.
Jason told me it was supposed to be like a ditch grass, ditch
Yeah.
blend type.
It's not weedy super or anything, so I'd let it go a little bit and then maybe hit it once.
And this, like I say, moisture finally might help too. Moisture and heat, it might
It's-
take
it's-
off.
It's
and-
waking up.
I was gonna say, the other thing that you guys might wanna consider would be, just putting it out for bids for people, anyone that wants to hay it. You might actually get paid to have it cut rather than
Right.
us
Yeah.
cutting it.
Yeah, one time deal. to
I mean, it'd be
something.
like a one-time clipping, but
Like
if
July
it, if it
call.
is like supposed to be like a ditch mix or a waterway type mix,
Mhm.
you know,
And it could be hayed, yeah.
People might grab it
Look,
for some grass
some
or
boys did it one time up there, they hayed some up there.
horse feed.
yeah.
One of the guys from casino did it too, a couple times.
then those erosion things, who takes those out?
Jason
'Cause
was
those
taking
look
care of
kinda,
those.
okay.
I talked to him after our meeting and he was gonna take care of those, or call those guys. As long as there's something established, then we can remove everything. So he goes, if it's established, he was gonna check out the next day and I never did talk to him again.
As I said,
Green, there's a little bit of erosion out there in some spots. I don't know
I'd
if
leave
they'll
them
address
for
it.
now, cause I looked at it yesterday and if we were gonna clip it, I'd leave the ditches alone for now.
Yeah, they're really
Right.
short.
I
really
think they
short.
just reseeded them,
And
this
that's
spring.
even
probably
late.
3 weeks, well, probably 6 weeks ago.
Yeah.
It wasn't that long ago.
No,
Now's the time where we got moisture, now heat coming, it might really
Right.
start to take off.
but they do, like, around some of those, I guess you call them intakes, a couple of those intakes, it's there is some erosion coming down the driveways and stuff. I don't know if we have to take care of that or put
That's
some
just a
mats
game.
on there or something.
Game we gotta play till we get something established.
But
Just want 'em to look
before we
pretty.
clip it though, I'll talk to you guys and just see if it looks like something where, you know, we could,
I would bet somebody would be interested in haying, and
Right, I
there's
mean,
not any obstacles out there.
I would think so.
You can do a lot of it without getting anything. I mean,
right,
Yeah,
Once you get past the fire hydrants
I mean, basically.
and
yeah,
utility
Yeah.
pedestals, I mean,
You're
there's
good.
a lot of room.
like I said, it's not like it's gonna make a ton of money, but it's better than us spending our money to do it.
Yeah, like I say, we
It's
still gotta pay you guys technically to do it, you know, so.
just
Yeah,
a thought.
okay, we'll let her go a
But
little bit.
I will keep an eye on it too, like I have been, just, I don't want it to turn into a ragweed
No,
factory.
no.
No.
I just liked this week it was growing, so
Yeah.
it finally kicked in,
Yep.
stuck the head out a little bit.
People service, Chris?
Since you guys my report last week, any questions on that?
No.
Nope.
How'd the,
And then we,
water towers go?
pretty good. Found a hole in the little one, that somebody torched a hole in up there, so we need to get that patched.
Okay.
Well, see, one of the times when it froze way back when, they took a torch up there because they said they couldn't get the bolts loose. And I think they just cut a hole and there's a vent up there, the tall vent, the cupola vent. And they must have ran their hose down through that cupola vent. So, and he said it'll take like a 2x2 patch, it's real small, but
Right.
so we need to get it fixed.
Okay.
He said it'll be in his report. The big one, the wind had blown, there was no locks on the hatch up there and had blown one of the hatches open. He said it looked good, but it'd have to be disinfected and cleaned
Clean, yeah.
at some point in time.
But as far as coatings on the
He
inside of
said
that one,
from what he said, it all looked good, so.
Good. That's good.
It's a plus.
so what, anything with the mixer then?
It all looked okay, but we gotta pull it out,
Yeah,
and he didn't, they weren't.
he's not, that's not his job yet.
Right, I kinda, I politely asked, and I politely got told no.
Right, no, that's fine.
My new guy's not afraid to climb, we may try and pull it ourselves.
Okay.
You know, I keep asking him, I said, you know, it's, not everybody likes climbing, so.
Right, right. So did that one look okay then on the inside, or is it,
No, there's no paint left in that one.
there's no paint, so
No.
it's gotta get,
That one needs to be drained
Completely
down,
tore down.
sandblasted and painted. He said he'd send a report, go through all that. We didn't drain it all, he said if I could have it down like 10 feet, and I ended up having it down like 13 and a half, 14 feet, that was good enough for him. So we didn't have to go through the disinfection process.
does, yeah, well, that's gonna be a process to do that.
Yeah, because we have to have pneumatic trailers so we can have water so we can backwash, because, you know, we need to backwash every 2 days, 3 days. So yeah, it's gonna be a monumental process to just paint the darn thing.
Right. That's gonna take, I'm sure, at least a week or so, probably by the time they,
Probably looking at 2 weeks,
Yeah.
because you got like a 7-day cure after you're
oh, I
done.
suppose, yeah, sure time.
So start to finish, you're probably looking at 3 weeks, you know, time we put tanks on the ground, get things set up.
What, yeah, is that gonna happen this year, or is it the next year? I mean, as far as like getting contractors is the big thing right now, you know?
Right.
What are they, I don't know what they're doing, I'm sure most all those guys are booked, if they're in with municipalities and stuff like that, they're booked out probably.
Yeah.
I mean, is that something we look into doing and getting lined up and do it next year?
That's probably you know, I don't
I don't know if you get it
know if we get it done this year.
wrangled together, get contractors, that's the thing, you get committed and all of a sudden you're at October, November and somebody comes in, that's not the right time to be doing stuff when you're
Right.
looking at
Or
cold.
if it gets cold too fast.
Yeah, cause then the paint's not gonna work,
Right. And you're throwing, yeah.
so,
So it's probably smart to get a plan together now so we can do bids this winter and hire somebody.
Get something done
Have
in
like June.
June,
1st
July
start.
next year. And unfortunately, there is no downtime at the casino unless COVID round 2 hits and shuts it down again for 3
I don't want
months.
that to happen. Keep
That would have been the
baby
ideal
going.
time to do it, but how can you organize and how do you know?
Didn't
And
see it coming.
if we'd have known, it would have been done at
Yeah,
that point.
as long as we're okay on with it and just plan for next year, next summer. or whatever, I guess.
It's gonna be a grueling 2 weeks running under
Yeah,
short storage and pressure, but
Figure it out.
can be done.
yeah. It can be done.
It's done
Just-
everywhere else, so.
Not gonna be cheap.
Right.
I have no idea what the pneumatic trailer's gonna cost. Then we need to decide how much we, have to calculate how much we need per backwash. We need more than that, but if we need 25, 30,000 just for back, I think it's around 30, 40,000 gallons.
Was it
Need those rates changed then.
really? Yeah. Yeah. That may have some effect on it. Alright, we'll
So
have
that's all I
to,
had.
okay. Maybe we'll have to set a time up and get together sometime here soon and. I mean, is that something we need to,
That'd be an RFP kind of thing?
that's what I'm
or-
wondering, RFP, you know, it's maintenance, but we're gonna be over any threshold, so we probably have
Oh,
to do
yeah.
bids.
You have to get bid.
So I don't know if we just look into
Talk to some,
hiring an engineer to do it, or this way we know we're getting the proper bids and getting the proper products, you know what I mean? When it comes to that, if you get the fly-by-night on something like that, that's not gonna be good. I mean, and obviously there's just a handful of, water tower repair and painters around
Yeah,
that.
there's about 4 or 5 of them.
Yeah, in the Midwest, I'm sure that's gonna be a,
Jason can probably steer you.
So I was,
yeah, I'll chat with him a little more too and just see what his thoughts are and,
Well, and like with water right now, there's only about a $10,000 gap in between the income and the expense, so.
That's gonna wipe that out.
yeah.
Yeah,
And-
pretty quick.
Yeah, that's what we gotta get her, and I gotta talk with him on rates too, we gotta get going on that. So, okay, I guess we'll start working on that and try to plan it for next year. See what their report says and
Yeah.
go from there.
Yep.
Okay, you guys got any other questions for Chris?
Nope.
No.
Okay, I have the annual, adjustment of compensation for people service here. It's in our contract. The CPI plus 3%. So it'll be a total of 4.2% increase for this year. And that's just something that's been in there forever and it's part of the deal, I guess.
Mhm.
So, take a motion to approve the annual adjustment of compensation of people service.
I'll make a motion to approve that.
Alright, is there a second?
I'll second it.
Any other discussion? All in favor, aye?
Aye.
Aye. Opposed? Motion will carry.
I just have one question. At one time, I know that, it was said that there was probably a bigger percentage of that could go to one versus the other, and I can't remember if wastewater's more labor intensive or if water's more labor intensive.
Say wastewater, I mean.
So if we could split that a little more, then
Yeah.
water wouldn't look as bad.
Right.
If Jason would know
Water uses more
breakdown.
chemicals, but
Well,
wastewater uses more labor,
Right.
you know, so it's. one of
because in
those-
20, that's what happened. It was basically at almost break even. And that's it. There was no income at all on water because of what we had to catch up on
Yeah,
chemicals. and
hours
stuff.
at a time, I charge out about 65 to 70% of my time to wastewater and the rest is water, but chemical
So-
costs way outweigh what we spend
Yeah,
at
you've got more
wastewater.
material in the water than you do
Right.
in the wastewater.
Although I don't see the electrical bill, so I can't tell you.
So
You
like
know, electrical's
60,
pretty high at
40
wastewater
might
plant
be-
where you don't have hardly any
Yeah.
water.
Yeah, do
And we
that.
could talk about it more
Do
too.
60-40 wastewater probably.
I'll
Well,
start that.
actually, if water's the light one, maybe go 60-40 the other way.
Yeah,
Yeah, cause
Yeah.
the wastewater is, yeah, so go 60% water.
I'll do that starting July 1.
Wastewater. Okay.
We'll just make wastewater start looking worse then.
Well, by that point, we can get our rates in there and go that route.
And do you know what is there I know that everything should be to the lots now, but do you know what the hookup charges
That's
are
what we're
gonna be
working
now
on
too?
too.
Okay.
'Cause there is a fee out there now, right?
No,
There's
yes
not.
and no.
Okay.
The only one that's ever paid anything was Holiday Inn. Nobody else has paid anything to hook on.
So
So it's kind of a mixed bag.
we have,
And Xenia set that, they just pulled a number out of the air and that's what they made it pay.
is that
They
on
have to
the,
hook on, so.
is that on our website?
I'm aware of.
think
Rates
so.
or anything? 'Cause there should be ordinances for water and wastewater out there in that area, correct?
I don't know if there's-
I have copies of them.
Okay.
Yeah, okay.
I don't know if they're published.
They're not on that, they're not, yeah, I've never seen one, I guess, but if I was looking in the wrong spot or not, but. Yeah, cause we gotta have, I mean, there's gotta be ordinances on that, so you can set your rates, and then like if we do a rate increase, obviously that'll come here.
Yeah, I don't have the
To-
ordinance. I
And you
just
amend
have,
gotta give
ordinance.
notice and all that
Yeah.
good stuff.
I
Yeah,
don't have the ordinance. I just have what the engineer give you guys to set your ordinance.
do a little digging then, won't we? Find out where that's at.
It's on the record.
Yeah.
Somewhere.
It's in a vault. All right, department head discussion.
Oh, it's after 9.
Oh shoot, sorry,
That's okay.
I apologize.
No.
I'll try to pass that. All right, fiscal year 2021 budget amendment.
So you're recessing the
No,
regular session?
yes.
for the
Could
public
have a
hearing.
hearing.
Oh, it is, okay. Yeah, I'll recess the, regular meeting and, take a motion to open the public hearing for the 2021 budget amendment.
So moved.
Is there a second?
I'll second it.
All in favor, aye?
Aye.
Aye. Okay, public hearing is open for 2021 budget amendment.
Okay, basically, I hope I've got enough to cover
Everybody?
everybody to the year end. Let's see, there were some reimbursements or some money that came in for conservation and for me, that was, we'd call it HAVA money or whatever for elections, basically, it was COVID related. And then, conservation had, and there was a $5,000 grant that I applied for also.
Yep.
That gets you to the 19.8, and then conservation had a WCDA grant that came through for a vehicle that they purchased. So then, on the other side, I, increased my, election supplies, election officials, and I didn't do the whole 19.8, but I just increased those a little bit in case there was a gap that needed to get covered. Conservation is just totally the vehicle in and out. We put a little bit more on Joel. That's kinda due to the scanning project that hopefully we get wrapped up by the end of June, I hope.
That money needs to come out of there by then,
Yeah,
so.
yeah, and, we had not, allowed for the, FEH yet, and then for some reason, I'm off on fiscal agent fees on the loans, but, I'm gonna put enough money in to cover it this time.
Okay.
So, and then in conjunction with that, there's a transfer of $5,400, which is the difference that needs to be pulled from the conservation reserve fund to the general fund. Am I going the right way?
Yes.
Yeah.
That's
So
what I
that,
came this for.
so that the, so that gets covered. And then a transfer happens for that.
Good.
So I think that covers it all. If anybody has questions, this is the time for the public to
Yep.
ask whatever they
Questions
want.
from the public?
Anybody online on Zoom that has any questions concerning our, budget amendments? Anybody in here have any questions or concerns?
I'll make a motion to close the public hearing.
So motion to close the public hearing, is there a second?
I'll second it.
All in favor, aye?
Aye.
Aye. Alright, public hearing is closed. I will, reconvene the regular meeting. And, we need a
Motion.
motion to approve the budget amendment.
I make a motion. I'll second it.
Enos was the motion, Mark is a second. Any other discussion on that? Hearing none, I'll do a roll call vote. Lowberg,
Aye.
Smithy,
Aye.
Stone, aye. Okay, budget amendment will pass. And also, resolution 2021.06.01.02, hereby resolved by the Worth County Board of Supervisors that the county auditor is hereby requested to transfer $5,400 from Conservation Reserve Fund to the General Fund per the request of Jim Hanson, Conservation Director. Is there any questions or concerns with that? If not, I'd take a motion to approve this resolution.
So moved.
Is there a second?
I'll second it.
Any other discussion on it? If I do, we have a typo.
Oh,
But we'll,
No.
just the supervisor's names, Kenny's name is still on this.
oh jeez,
So we
okay.
must have used this
Yeah.
before, so.
Just cutting and
it's
pasting.
fine. Yeah, it's mine, so,
It worked for a
Tell
lot of
her-
years that way.
Can you tell I wanted to get the heck out of here?
yeah.
Sorry about that.
No problem.
Okay, so we'll just make that adjustment. All right,
As long as
I'll
I
do a
don't put
roll
in the
call vote.
minutes.
Lowberg,
Aye.
Smithy,
Aye.
Stone, aye. That resolution will pass. You just want me to sign the,
No,
You
yeah,
want to
just skip it,
okay,
yeah.
wait, that's interesting, on the garden.
Yeah,
Passed
how
it,
the
so.
heck did I do
Pretty easy.
that? Sorry, Enos.
That's. Sign down there, your name. Okay. Alright, department heads?
Yeah.
Okay.
Just keep chat messages there.
Yeah, I see that, Dan said he's got a drain issue
Looks like kitchen.
in the kitchen. Get that cleaned and done. Sounds like a lot of attorney questions coming at us.
I'll have that drone stuff to you this week.
Okay.
You want a flash drive or?
He's gonna be gone Friday.
Dan and I are gonna call him after the supervisor meeting, and we'll see how they want that handled.
Let me know.
See, Teresa's got. Yes, imaging will not be completed by the end of June. Work on indexing and items for auditor and engineer at this time. That's
Can
what
we
Teresa
pay?
said.
I mean, I hate to pay them before the job's done, but we
Probably
can't-
pay them more.
We
could
can't
pay 'em
carry,
more.
yeah, we can't carry it over.
Oh, that's a grant.
Well, that was grant money, but we already, so that came out of budget 52, and then there was, that's that money that's sitting in budget 52 right now.
Yeah, and WCDA wants that money gone too.
Right.
Mhm.
Yeah,
We have to make a discussion, we'll have a discussion with them and see if we can't pay.
oh, I'm sure they'll take
Yeah.
them
They'll
up.
take
Yeah.
They usually do, yeah.
But that's
It's
just
what
kind of,
service we'll get from
that's kind of been our hammer when they just
Kinda
kind
like
of,
a contractor.
Well, yeah, but I would assume they don't want any bad dress out your hope.
you don't think so.
Just put us on the back burner probably.
Yeah.
Well, at least we're getting progress now, so.
Yeah.
Well, I guess see what you guys can do with it, cause it's whatever. I mean,
It, for budgeting, I've already,
You got to.
it screwed me up last year and then I put it in this year and now if we have to go to another year, it needs to go.
We just need to pull the Band-Aid off that.
It needs to go.
So I told you guys Chris Judge from CISA was here to do a physical security audit. That report, he did email that to me. I have not reviewed that as of yet with Jackie or the sheriff, or with you guys. I didn't know how you wanted to do that. I haven't even looked at it, to tell you the truth. It's, so it's,
Fit in an email, so that's good.
yeah, it's an emailed report, so I can share it with you, or we can discuss it over a meeting. I guess it's up to you folks how you want to digest
Discuss it at a meeting.
I would say yes.
Okay.
If you wanna send it,
Well, but is it one of those security things that we'd want it to be a closed
Closed
session?
session, yeah, you're
Okay.
gonna want closed session.
Okay.
Okay.
Can do that.
well then, yeah, just make copies for us if it's
Send it.
I'll just forward it
Email?
out to you guys,
Okay.
yeah.
forward to us and then we'll,
It's password protected PDF, so I'll have to send you the password too. I'll send it out to you guys.
okay.
So you wanna line that up for next week?
I suppose if you guys have time though, cause I know there's drainage stuff next week too, so I don't know if you wanted to tear into that same time period.
Well, we got FEH too at 10:30.
So 2 weeks.
Gonna be here anyway. Right? You wanna wait a couple?
Well, I mean, if we got
It's up to you guys.
I don't think
FH at
so.
10:30, we get drainage at 10.
We got drainage at 10 and FEH at 10:30.
I guess I'd rather waste, I don't wanna say waste
I
the
don't know.
morning, but spend the whole morning doing stuff. Beans we're here anyway.
No, let's
So,
try to
you
squeeze it
guys
in.
got
No, let's
schedules.
try to squeeze it in.
Like
that's
now,
fine.
we're pretty much done, so,
Yeah.
I mean, if you can get done
Let's
by
squeeze it in.
9:30, that still gives you a half hour until 10.
Yeah,
Should be
the
able to take care of the basic stuff
The
most times.
14th is our ITAG conference,
Right.
and we're doing, I'm sponsoring a CISA workshop for counties for that Monday and Tuesday that week, so I will have to get out here fairly early Monday, so
So,
next
June,
week. would be-
yeah.
Do it next week, then that's fine.
You're fine.
so call it cybersecurity
Physical security
or
review.
physicals.
Yeah.
Works for me.
And then the workshop that I'm hosting, the 14th and 15th, that'll satisfy 2 of the requirements from the Secretary of State's admin rules that were put on you for election security.
Cool.
So I've got about 25 counties that are doing that week, so. so those, you can check mark those off and get, you'll have those documents.
What we could probably do is, well, I guess you leave that one open for FEH. That'll be interesting,
We'll just have to
Okay.
close the
Yeah.
Zoom meeting off
cause we
and,
could probably do that at the end after we're adjourned,
oh, sure,
as like a workshop
yep, that
or
sounds good.
whatever. And,
Yep.
Okay. Sounds good to me.
All right.
Sounds good.
Any other department heads? Got any questions, comments? Concerns? Okay, supervisor weekly, Enos.
I had a special meeting for North Iowa Children's Alliance. We lost our employer of record, our fiscal agent, our area director. It was all being done by Sarasota Public Health. And as of July 1st, they no longer want to do it, so I have another meeting today, this afternoon, to go out and find these,
To find
somebody else to do this for us.
fiscal agent.
Yep.
Well, that'll kind of tie in what, Central Iowa Juvenile Detention does a lot of fiscal agent stuff, so they might want to get a hold of Tony Reed and talk to him.
They brought that up at the meeting I was in
I-
last week.
Kind of picked that up, I think it was already in the works, so.
Yep,
Yeah,
Tony was already on the agenda.
okay, good.
Yep. So, other than that, I went to the task force meeting on Wednesday night.
Okay.
So, you guys probably zoomed in on that or whatever.
I'm totally missed it and I apologize.
We have a little girl playing softball now.
Your nights are busy.
She loves to have her dad there, so. The summer's full.
Yep.
It's still July anyway, so. Okay. Mark?
I had Central Iowa Juvenile Detention, and that's one, like I say, one thing that came up, and I thought I caught that in the background, they talked about the juvenile, for you guys, so that's good. They're moving on, we're doing some building plans down there, but it's kind of on hold with the cost of materials right now, they're still working on the engineering and stuff on the expansion for building down there. This came up, Mitchell County wanted to join, and I think we took them in, but the question was, came up, they were in North Iowa like we are too, and they said, will they leave that? Well, we've never done that, I don't know if it's something we wanna consider as to, anyway, if we have any kids, they're gonna go to Central Iowa now first. I think we've used up our reserve from North Iowa, I think that money's gone.
long gone.
So I don't know if we wanna consider terminating our agreement with them and just staying with Central Iowa,
I would,
I would say probably yes.
yeah.
And nothing against the
And there's
organization,
no-
but there's no reason to belong to two, and it's not
And no
costing.
confusion.
No,
If they're
could be
gonna
less
go- They're
confusion.
gonna go that way anyways.
Right.
Cause they're like the,
So
for
I think
this region, this area, they're the place they're gonna go, so
well, yeah,
why pay double?
well, yeah, we're not, there's really no fees to belong to either one of them now, I don't think, but we just have an E28 agreement, I suppose, when we need to do away with, or what do we have? Yeah,
Yeah, there's probably a 20 of
There's
you.
gotta be one, yeah, that we're part of.
maybe get
I'll
that,
look into that.
yeah, next couple weeks or something, probably be a good idea just to eliminate the one.
Simplified.
Well, it's one less meeting, not one less meeting I have to attend, I mean, but it's, we're not sending any kids there either way, I mean, I know that came up here about a year ago, the sheriff says once our money was used up, so any kids would go to
Yeah,
Central
that
Iowa.
took a little doing, Sandy.
Yeah, there was $7,500 there we had to use up, I think it was, when I got on the board.
It doesn't take long there.
No, well, I know it don't, cause it's a lot of money per day, but it's cheaper to go to Central Iowa, their rates are cheaper.
And they get the same service,
Get the same service.
right?
I'd go with that.
That's the big thing.
Okay, that's all I have.
That's it. I had Care Connections Northern Iowa meeting over in Emmitsburg, and with that bill being passed, legislation Senate File 619, state's gonna start funding it, kicking us out of, or kicking it off property taxes and fund it 100%. We're all leery what's gonna happen by 2024, but we don't have much of a choice, we'll see. So basically, we were budgeting $28 per capita, with the perspective of going down even further. With state stepping in, it's gonna go to 2114, I believe, is the number. So, this year now, It will be $7 basically less per capita, and then next year it's gonna disappear.
Okay.
And then the state is gonna start paying our region quarterly disbursements of, well, it'll be $15.86 this year, $38 following year, $40, and then 42.
Hope they do better than they do with doing extension paying their on time.
Yeah, and they're gonna do quarterly, and the problem we're seeing is right now we can keep our fund balance at 40%. That's gonna change, and by 2023, it's gonna drop to 20%. And then by 24, it's gonna drop to 5%.
You always
Fund
maintain
balance.
5% then?
Yeah, that's
No,
the
no
max.
total phase out.
Yeah,
Okay.
that's the max of 5%, and that's at 2024. But the problem we're nervous is, okay, with these quarterly payments, you get into this end of the fiscal year stuff, is 5% enough to cover expenses, cover your employees and that kind of stuff? So everybody's a little leery that it should stick around that 20 to 25%, but we've got a few years to
Like the general fund should be.
work on legislation, but otherwise you're gonna get to those certain times a year where you're waiting on payments,
You're sweating.
and you're still paying everybody because you cannot not pay your providers because they're gonna not wanna do business with you anymore. So it's just, that number seems awful tight, and I know ISAC has put out a deal, and we're gonna get involved. I'm trying to get a committee together with regions throughout the state and work on this and start working on legislators to keep that up around that 20 to 25% so we can feel comfortable. I mean, the money's, it's earmarked, you cannot do anything else with it, it's only going to the one place, but they're just cinching the reins a little too tight, that's making everybody a little nervous, so we have a little time, but that's what's we're working on now. So it will come off the taxpayers, and it's mid 300,000s here, so every year, so that'll take the burden off of John and Jane Q Publics, but won't help our bottom line here much, but.
So you're talking about the county's fund balance or the actual?
The region.
The region.
Region fund balance.
Really?
Yes,
Ick.
yes.
That's not good.
No, it's way too tight to maintain. So that's why we're gonna start working on it now and hopefully have something figured out within the next year or two so that they can adjust it, get the legislators to adjust it to
10, 15% would be better.
5%'s tight.
Five's not much.
5% operating income, or operating is not.
I know how the
That's
state
what we
pays
say.
too.
That's what we're scared of, but they did change it, they did get it to quarterly, so that it would, cause it was gonna be semi-annual, which would be, yeah, and that was a big no way,
It'll
especially when you're
totally-
cramming that tight. If it was 40%, then maybe you could, but. when you're
It'll
talking
totally
numbers,
depend on timing of when their payables
Yeah,
are due and
yep,
stuff like that, so.
yep. So
Funds are already there. It's in the balance.
that's the scary part over the next couple of years is where that's gonna end up, so with a little luck, we'll get her figured out, and but like I say, it's good for counties in the region. It's the state's taking
Hope so.
the reins on it a little bit, and you're gonna pay for it. We don't have to locally, we'll just pay for it out there in the state funded portion, so. And then I did get a call from Zach DuPont from Globe Gazette. I don't know if you guys probably saw it, probably talked to him as well. We were in the paper again with our zoning issue and Jeff Borball. And I told him basically we were aware of this last fall. We've been in some tough times with losing supervisors, losing zoning people. It was just a bad spot. We felt it was necessary to keep Jeff on because of the experience. It's not like we just appointed him just because he'd been on this is his 5th year now, and then he was also on the Board of Adjustment before that. So my thought was, and it was all of our thoughts back in October, was to leave well enough alone because at least you had some experience there to help get through this situation we were in, and then we could always look into it later. So it's obviously something we need to look into, and to me, I guess we're in the middle of the whole discussion topic or whatever, but what are your guys' thoughts on Jeff's situation out there, and what do we need to do to correct it?
I think the question they raised was conflict of interest, that's what they asked me, and that's not for me to decide, that would be a legal question for either the county attorney or somebody, if that is a question. I mean, so if it is a question of conflict of interest, then we should address it. If it's not, I guess,
Well, I mean, as far
if
as,
it's a legal question, it needs to be addressed.
and I quoted wrong saying that I thought we were under the state guidelines and we're not. That was my mistake, but state guidelines are as long as you have a majority within that district,
Right.
you're fine. Because then those people are the most susceptible to anything that happens within that district, so, having a little outside knowledge, the state's fine with it anyways, but what do you think? You live in it, I don't, the zone area.
I think having Jeff's retired, Jeff's willing to do the research, Jeff's digging into it and getting everything, getting as much information as possible, and do something with him right in the middle of this thing right now would be stupid. Absolutely stupid. I don't understand why it's a conflict of interest.
That was a question they raised.
Right.
I haven't looked into
Yeah.
it either.
That don't make sense to me.
That was a question they proposed, and I basically said, I don't know, that's a legal question, I haven't asked Reeves if it would be. I think, I did ask Reeves, I think earlier, and he said no, but but they're raising the question that it's basically.
Who's they?
The Globe Gazette.
Should you at least reach out to NIACOG and have them
NIACOG should have
involved
been
from the
reached out
beginning?
from the beginning.
Yeah,
They should have been involved in this from the beginning. That's what they're there for.
But
They need to
what's
be
going
involved.
on out there is they're not, I mean, and that's what I told the Globe too, is there's
They're the
not
experts.
any decisions being made, there's no voting going on, so I don't see a conflict of interest. As far as, they're just following the guidelines that are already set and trying to bring to us.
but it's their
Recommendation.
interpretation.
It's their interpretation.
They're interpreting the laws that are already set with those 3 townships.
They
But
shouldn't
they're not
be,
experts.
they really shouldn't be acting on anything without legal counsel.
So, I mean,
They shouldn't be moving
Or
forward.
at least NIACOG.
Well, with NIACOG, and that's what they are. They have some legal counsel there. NIACOG needs to be involved, plain and simple.
if we
That's up,
go,
but that's up to you. Even from the beginning, they should have been involved. Not after the fact.
well, they were involved, they originally wrote the stuff, or helped us guide
Well,
with guidance
But
on
they
it.
should have been there working with them every Wednesday night, just like, so that everything was done proper and there was no questions of, that eliminates those questions of conflict of interest or legalities or whatever. That's what needs to be done. That's my opinion, like I say, you two can push it the way you want to, but
Well, if we wanted to push it the way we wanted to, we wouldn't ask for your opinion, Mark, we're asking.
well, no, I've said my opinion, but you're not, if
It's-
you don't wanna agree, that's fine.
Do you want to agree? It's just, I think.
I
what they're
want
doing is just
NIACOG
following
involved.
the guguidelines.
I want NIACOG involved.
Okay,
And
And this is
and I've
on
been
the
told,
agenda?
I've been told by someone
it's a
that
discussion
they
with
should
us,
be
we can
involved.
discuss it.
So,
I think, we can ask NICOG if they want to assist us and what assistance they would give us, I guess, if it's worth
That's what it
engaging them
should
more or
be.
not,
I have no problem with that.
that's fine.
And I did share the contract from the last round
with them,
that I showed you guys the NIACOG contract for helping with the zoning last time.
And they told us basically we would just do an hourly rate with this because it's already established. So if we needed any guidance or assistance, it would be $50 an hour to assist us with whatever we would need.
I remember you telling us that, so.
So, and that was from Myrtle Nelson, so we don't have to, the wheel's not getting reinvented, it's just, but, I don't know, just as far as the conflict and the deal with Jeff, I don't agree that there is. The decisions, they're following the rules that are already in place. If it was an issue, it should have been an issue at least 5 years ago, if not more than that, when he was on the Board of Adjustment. So it's been through this board before that Jeff has been involved in that. Prior boards to you, to me, to all of us.
he's always been on there.
Right.
So,
So it just, technically,
It seems funny that
we're not following ordinance.
he brought it to your attention last fall, cause I went back and looked at all the videos, and you guys didn't do anything about it, and now all of a sudden this comes up and it becomes a problem.
Right.
When
Yeah,
he's
I don't know where
when
it
he's
came
doing all the research and all And that's what we need, is, otherwise we gotta sit and do it.
I don't know who raised the question, but that's what they said, so.
Mm-hmm.
You mean as far as the Globe, who raised the
Yeah,
question? I don't have the faintest idea how that,
All right.
and like I say, it's not that's the question for either the county attorney or NICOG or whoever. That question should be proposed to them, and if they say it is an issue, then we need to deal with it. If it's not, then we can let it ride.
Just have to amend our ordinance because our ordinance states that's how it should be.
Should be.
and that's probably not a bad idea anyway.
If you, as long as you're still following state code where your majority's there, and right now you got 4 of the 5 lived within those townships, I don't, you got more than what state requires, but
Do we need to adjust the ordinance?
we can, I'll run it by Jeff, I'll run it by NICOG and see
See
what they
say.
recommend then, and then we can decide from there. So, okay, that's what we'll do then. I'll make contacts with those guys. Alright, next week's agenda. Anything on there that we're all gonna be involved in?
Finally winding it down a little bit.
Are we gonna do something at the fair? I mean, I don't know.
Yeah,
I mean,
we're on the thing there, we gotta,
Okay.
I guess we'll talk with Mark and see what he's,
Work with him.
He'll be there with the Alert Iowa stuff. I think he's gonna have, I'm not sure what trailers. Mark, say something.
He was on.
The big trailer will be there, so there'll be, both sides will be available on that. I'll have the Alert Iowa and some just preparedness stuff on one side, and the other side will be wide open for whatever the supervisors want to do as far as EMS or
that's gonna be there
courthouse
all
or
week.
whatever.
All week?
Yeah.
Yep,
Okay,
16th through the 20th.
so I guess we just gotta decide what days we wanna go participate and answer any questions or get input from the community on EMS. So, which probably, I'm sure the busier days, Saturday, Friday evening, or Saturday during the afternoon or during
Evenings,
the
I
day.
think, are in general are busier than during,
No, it is busy during the day doing.
Before the
Our
beer,
stock
before the
shows
beer
and stuff.
garden becomes too much of an influence. So, okay. But it's on there, so I guess we just gotta decide between us what portion of, what time anybody would like to go sit there for 3-4 hours or whatever and answer any questions.
Yep.
Get the thoughts of people if they're willing to pay for it, so.
I see Chuck Grassley's in Manly.
Yeah,
Yeah,
Thursday.
that's on
yeah, third.
there. The third. Okay. I'm gonna try to go to that. See if I can make it. Never sat in the same room as
Chuck.
Mr. Grassley, so. Think he'll know who I am?
Oh, yeah. He introduced
I'm gonna try
himself.
to make it.
I didn't think so. Alright, well,
I forgot to say 2 things.
that's okay, what's up?
I put the Venture School sponsorship application on our website,
Oh, okay,
so if anybody asks, you can just go directly to there.
okay,
And then the events calendar, we were really good at it, before Teresa left about keeping up with events, but I'm just starting it now. So if anybody has a local event, like it's soup and supper for the fire department or the library or whatever, they can just go to our website, submit the event, and then we will promote it on KOW the following Friday.
okay, perfect. It's good to know, cause some of that stuff might be coming back around.
And I try to enter what I can see in the newspapers, but obviously not everybody advertises
Right.
that way.
Okay. Well, that sounds good, utilize the website, cause it's a neat website, but yeah, let's utilize it. So. Hit it?
Mhm.
Okay. Alright, nothing else, then I'll take a motion to adjourn.
I'll make a motion to adjourn.
I'll second it.
All in favor, aye?
Aye.
Opposed? Meeting is adjourned.